think that we all need to focus on is how do we do that dialogue? You know, it's asking questions for understanding, and instead of what's wrong with you, tell me your story. What's happened to you? And perhaps practicing those dialogues.
First of all, this is great. My hope is that there's a call to action afterwards, because the purpose is not just for this room to become uncomfortable and then be comforted, but let's make a change in our city and unify. So that's the next step. So nobody's off the hook once you feel okay.
All right, thank you.
And since we're discussing race, let us begin with understanding it's a man-made word. And we are approaching it from God's perspective, because we are God's representatives. And so in our conversations, let us understand that this is something, if it doesn't come from God, it's demonic inspired. Is that blunt enough for you?
We say we want change, right? But if we want change, we gotta have dialogue. And it's gonna be rough, it's gonna be uncomfortable. There's gonna be things that people say unintentionally to offend, and then vice versa, right? So ignorance isn't necessarily a negative word, it's just a thing. And we all have it. And so I'm excited to be a part of the dialogue, to help and just get perspective from so many other angles. Especially now being at where I'm at. I mean, I'm in rooms where the average financial advisor is a 56-year-old white male. There's not a lot of guys like me in the firm or in the industry. So there's a lot of challenges that come with that, like walking into a room with a Mr. and Mrs. CEO and, hey, where's your supervisor or boss? I'm like, no, I'm the boss. It's me.
So if you live on the south side, you don't see black people except when you go to work, and all the ones you see at work are criminals. Well, then you're going to probably have that bias that when you see a black person or a person of color, that they're a criminal. Okay, and that's probably what's contributing a lot to the problem that we're having with with people of color having with the criminal justice system, is that there is a bias. Because so when they see someone who's not a criminal, they're assuming, oh, there's another black lady, black man, he must be up to no good. And so, but you don't have that assumption when you see white people, because people in your family are white, and your friends are white, and you don't have that. You have to balance that off.
We didn't have any people of different colors in our neighborhood. We were all white. So, yeah, I had that bias for a long time, and I always thought, whenever I came across a person of color, I need to be careful, because I need to be safe, keep my family safe. But until I grew in my faith and understood the love of Jesus Christ goes to everybody, and to look at that person on the inside, that's where I started to see the change in myself. And again, it comes down to making the change in myself, and then making that change in my family.
We have planned for you to be at a table and have how raw you want to go, or talk about your hair. I mean, that's fine with me. I'm cool with that. I really am.
So you don't get why when a black person is pulled over or stopped by the police, why they don't raise their hand?
Do I understand that there's bigots and racists out there? Absolutely. I'm not one of them. Doesn't affect me. I'm cool with black people. I'm cool with Asian people. I'm cool with Latino people. I'm married to a Latino person. Right?
When you judge other people based on the color of their skin or their gender, it doesn't really matter. You're putting a pressure on them that they should not bear.
Ideally, every white person should have a black friend that they can ask those type of questions without feeling they're being judged.
And ideally, they don't have more than one.
At least one, right? And if you don't have one, get one today.